To grow up black. Cocoa butter, Vaseline covered faces, freshly oiled scalps, shiny hair store lip gloss, long box braids and curly froze, saying locks instead of dreads because there's a difference, gospel music on a Sunday morning, mama's giving us something to cry about, daddy's too hard on they boys and soft on they baby girls, the fact that wash day is a full day, getting cracked on for having ashy knees, eating Happy Crack or hot Cheetos stained fingers, secret middle school boyfriends, knowing which belts to get when it was the time, the face we make when the beat hitting too hard, riding the pegs on your older cousins' bikes, Saturday family cookouts, bougie aunties burning incense, uncle saying, nephew, every 5 seconds, beating the street lamps home, and mama saying we smell like outside, staying in or out because we not finna keep letting out the cold air, layering up when the teachers call home, knowing that red polish is for grown folks, asking the ice cream man to put cheese on your Takis, knowing not to touch, look, or ask about anything in the store, report cards meaning everything to our parents, having the birds and the bees talk as well as the if the cops pull you over talk, asking for every pair of new Jordans, believing that fish and dreams brings a baby, putting your purse on the floor is bad luck as in bankrupt, if your hand itching, you better get some money, if your ears ringing, that means someone is talking about you, and all the other old wives' tales, knowing that finna isn't a real word, but we all know what it means, listening to Pac, Biggie, Erica, and Aretha, singing New Edition, and your parents asking, what you know about this? And so many more hidden gems in the experience of growing up black.
Disease was a significant problem during the time, but ancient Egypt was far more advanced in medical practice. People understood diseases were capable of being treated by pharmaceuticals. They also understood the importance of good hygiene when treating patients. The medical field blamed disease on supernatural forces. To their understanding, causal disease was understood as the consequence of sin. When that is not the case, they believed the patient is under a demonic attack. They also believed that the patient was being plagued by a ghost or god that needed to learn a lesson. They cured these diseases through the recitation of magical spells. Doctors would use incantation, amulets, offerings, tattoos, and statuary to drive away the ghosts and demons. The usage of herbs and spices was also popular at the time.
Some Egyptians believed in the afterlife as well as the ancient gods and goddesses. These deities help guide them through life events because they represent the natural world, sky, sun, wind, and earth. Egyptians' religion was polytheistic, worshiping gods immeasurably greater than humans in terms of power. According to Britannia.com, Egyptians believed that these higher beings are more than just deities, but demons. Gods were neither all-powerful nor all-knowing, but they could do things that humans couldn't do. Gods and goddesses were benevolent, but not all of them favored humans.
The strongest deities were gods or goddesses who represented the characteristics of creators' gods, such as Kirpi, the sun god, who represented the rising or morning sun. Some gods are aspects of stronger gods, such as Ra, the most powerful god in existence, and the king of all the gods, as well as the midday sun god. Adam, brother of Ra and Kirpi, was the evening sun god. These different gods and goddesses have importance to the development and evolution of Egyptian society, for the gods could give order and keep disorder at bay.
The ancient gods of Egypt were tied to Egyptian religion as they tend to worship these deities. Ancient Egyptians believed that if they were properly buried after they died, prepared for the afterlife, their soul would become immortal. To honor the gods and gain fortune, Egyptians would give gifts and sacrifices to put in the temples and monuments to appease them. There were different ways to appease the gods with offerings to cult temples, which contained cult statues of certain gods in ancient Egypt. In the late period of ancient Egypt, there was an expansion of animal cults, which included mummification and buried animals as offerings to the deities. There were also the principal bull cuts, who focused on burying a single animal in a special shrine, gaining important oracles, healing, etc. Some Egyptians today, such as the southern Egyptians, still worship the ancient gods and continue with these practices. But most of the Egyptian population today are Muslim, and a few are Jews and Christians. Some of their beliefs and practices would include Egyptian mythology, science, medicine, and more.
Ancient Egypt was significant to the ways it honored and tried its best to treat everyone equally. Egypt was known for many things, such as the pharaohs or the pyramids they had, but that's just the basics. For example, ancient Egyptians were one of the first civilizations to form in the ancient world. Whilst that doesn't seem important, they led to many inventions and techniques that are used until the modern day. Egyptians dealt, wow. Egyptians dealt with each other in peace and war, birth and even death. There were approximately 30 dynasties in Egyptian history who had come to There were approximately 30 dynasties in Egyptian history who had come to
Bro,
There were approximately 30 dynasties in Egyptian history who had to come together.
Egypt was known to give Egyptian women a wide range of rights and freedoms. For example, Egyptian women were able to sell property, work outside the home, marry, and divorce on their own terms, and even got equal pay in comparison to ancient Greece.
Ancient Egyptian workers had many labor strikes and were seen to be one of the most determined people to get better pay and conditions. Egyptians saw their pharaoh as a living god, but they couldn't be arsed to pay attention to that detail. They protested regardless. According to research, laborers built the royal necropolis at Deir el-Medina, didn't receive their usual payment of grain, which later caused the first recorded labor strikes in history.
The common stereotype is that pyramids and architecture are built by slaves in the past, but most Egyptian pyramids were not built by slaves. Instead, Egyptians were known to use slaves, if they had any, as field hands and or even domestic servants. The myth that pyramids were built by slaves was started by a Greek historian, Herodotus, in the 5th century BC. It's also great to note the workers were actually paid rather than working for nothing. The workers who built the pyramids included skilled artisans and temporary hands, with many taking pride in their crafts.
Egyptians were known to keep many animals as pets. This might not sound bizarre as it is common in modern day. However, Egyptians saw animals as incarnations of gods. This also made them be known as one of the first civilizations to keep household pets. Egyptians were very fond of cats, who were known to be associated with a goddess known as Bastet.
When I was younger, they taught me that the only black history was bitter, was pain, was fried burns and long nights. Sad songs and never being able to win a fight was picking up pieces of time that never seemed to belong to us. That now that I'm older, I've shouldered a much lighter verse. Understand that there's just something about the way black skin sings. The way lines on our forearms bend like music notes, move like it ain't never been held up by rope. I see magic in the way black skin moves, dances with sunlight and knows how to win every fight. I love the way black skin moves. Like, it knows this mission isn't impossible. Probability just means maybe. Maybe history hurt. Maybe people never learn. Maybe this is as far as the song goes, or our album be platinum. 3 extra tracks and our names on silver plaques. See, there's just something sweet about the way black skin sings. Songs of low dunks and gold chains on our necks. I ain't never seen a person without a song in their rhythm pushing at the veins in their skins like sticks on drums. Have yet to see a brown child without a black beating in their blood. But honestly asking about schools and an uncle crashing back beers like it wasn't Sunday dinner. I have seen the pain of generations curls like love bends to make room for more. I've seen black love, but I love the way black learns. The way brotherhood radiates off every hair shop and handshake. I love the way black skin listens. Hear this. We are never defined by failure, and success is only one part of a painting. I'd much rather you watercolor watch the future turn into a masterpiece of your own mixture than sit on the floor and frown at a fixture of light. Black ain't meant to break. We the OGs with what we create. When I was younger, they told me black ain't never ate. Starving on streets and cracking until we shatter. When I was younger, they told me black was bitter. That it was winter's cracked lips and dirty Jordans. It was broken picks and often picked up broken, but the black bandages wraps time around wounds like magic. Sun-kissed and palm oil slick with the anointings of ancestors still singing spiritual smooth like butter. I've struggled to love my black. And I'm learning to love it back, to embrace the creases of my knuckles and bend of the brown in my eyes. I've thought of black to be black.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While while the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. That's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my